Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. This is my first video and I'm going to be talking about my theory about Attack on Titan and how it could be the potential ending of the story. Firstly, I'm going to be presenting you the fundamental things you need in order to understand my theory, basically the building blocks of my theory, and secondly I'm going to be discussing about what Eren truly means by the notion of freedom and what he really intends to do.
Before I want to dive into the video, I want you to keep in mind that regardless of what anybody says about the ending, or regardless of any kind of theory that any YouTuber wants to present you as their theory, nobody can truly predict what's gonna happen in the ending of Attack on Titan, because the writer, Isayama, he's truly an unpredictable man. So with that in mind, I'm going to give you the golden nugget theory, and then we're going to explain some building blocks you need in order to understand the theory, and later on the video we're going to build on top of it. The theory is called the dream within dreams, and the explanation is the following: that Eren is someone who is dreaming all of this stuff up, and he is stuck in his own dream. This whole dream is divided to sub-dreams, and in every sub-dream, Eren is trying to get out of the dream, but he only ends up to find himself in another dream. And in each one of those dreams, there is a point where Eren becomes conscious of the pattern that he is stuck in a time loop. This point where Eren becomes conscious of the whole dreaming thing is the point where he kisses Historia's hand, and somehow he becomes conscious of the previous timelines, or in my version of the theory it's called dreams. So I'll be using this moment as a reference point throughout the video, and towards the end of the video I will explain to you why I don't call this whole thing a timeline. And another thing which my theory will suggest to you is that there could possibly be more than 3 dreams, or you may call it 3 timelines. It could possibly be hundreds of them. So the first piece of the puzzle is the notion of freedom. What does Eren truly mean by the notion of freedom, and why does he hate slavery so much? I believe the notion of freedom means that he wants to escape this dream, or in other words, he wants to escape this timeline, and he himself is a slave to his dream. You can see throughout the story that Eren is constantly mentioning the notion of freedom and why he hates it so much. Because he's not free. He's basically stuck in his own dream, and he is trying various methods to get out of it. Now the second piece of the puzzle is the famous theory of timelines. This theory basically tells us that the whole story constitutes of 3 timelines. Now in the first timeline, Eren decides to flee with Mikasa during the war, and he wants to live his final 4 years with Mikasa in peace. Now eventually Eren is gonna die due to the curse of Ymir, but during his final moments, Eren will die in this particular position, and the final words which he hears from Mikasa is, "See you later, Eren." This scene implies that Mikasa knew what was gonna happen, and this is where my theory needs to step in. Now, I believe this whole scene is Eren's plan, that he wants to put a memory within Mikasa's memories in the next timeline, because he wants a certain or a particular kind of outcome. And when the time is right, Mikasa will recall this memory in the right moment, and then she will execute the plan as Eren wanted. Now when Eren dies in the first timeline, this will connect to the second timeline where Eren wakes up beneath the tree with Mikasa waking him up, and Eren is waking up in a very peaceful manner. And when Eren is fully awake, he will start commenting about Mikasa's hair on why it's so long. This clearly implies that when Eren died in the previous timeline, he had seen a version of Mikasa's hair where it was short, but now it's long. Now another thing you need to notice about this scene is you can see that Eren is crying. This could probably be due to the fact that this is a side effect from jumping from one timeline to the other. That whenever one timeline ends and another one begins, what the main side effect of this whole thing is that Eren will start crying. Now, towards the end of the manga, you can see that Levi tells Mikasa that we need to execute the plan and kill Eren. But, as you can see, Mikasa doesn't find the strength within her to carry out the mission. Now, suddenly after nowhere, you can see that the same memory that Eren intended to plan within Mikasa's memories starts to pop up. And because of no reasons after that memory, Mikasa will become so motivated and so encouraged to carry out the mission. And furthermore, when Levi blows up Eren's teeth and when Mikasa enters Eren's mouth, the impression you can see on Eren's face is telling me that he knew this was gonna happen. And he was just waiting there for Mikasa to cut his head off. And as you can see in this scene, of course, Mikasa is willing and she is very happy to do this. And after when she cuts off Eren's head, you can see Ymir watching them while they kiss. I believe Eren in the first timeline believed that this would be the end of the time loop. But some way, somehow, this wasn't the end of the story. Now, when Eren dies in the end of the manga, Eren will be reborn in the third timeline, where this time he wakes up in a very terrified manner. And again, he starts crying. As I mentioned it earlier, this was due to the reason that this could probably be a side effect of jumping from one timeline to the other. Now, this time, as you can see, Eren is terrified, whereas in the second timeline, he was completely calm. And then he starts asking Mikasa, why are we here exactly? And the thing that I can conclude from this scene is that this wasn't supposed to happen. And keep in mind that this is not the same position where he had died during the first timeline and eventually being reborn in the second one. This time he seems to be lied down. Now, this was basically the theory about the timelines. Now, I want to remind you that what Eren truly values the most is to be freed from this perpetual state of dreaming. Now, people may disagree on this because they may believe that what Eren truly values the most is for Paradis to be free. My question to those people is this: then why didn't he care so much during the first timeline, where he had fled with Mikasa during the war? It was like he didn't care about Paradis that much. And the only subtle difference between the first and second timeline is the point where Eren asks Mikasa, what am I to you? And in the first timeline, Mikasa replied an answer which eventually led it to the outcome that they fled the war. So I'm telling you that Eren's number one objective is not to save Paradis. The only objective he has in this story is to escape the time loop. This is what he truly means by the notion of freedom and the notion of slavery. He is actually a slave to the timelines, or in my particular version of the fact, which I call it dreams. Now, the third piece of the puzzle is Teenage Eren in the Zombie Cast chapters. In these chapters, Eren is someone who is really bored and he keeps having these dreams about zombies where he is saving the school and he wakes up. And during his time in high school, he keeps being bullied. Okay guys, as crazy as this might seem, I believe this is the true Eren. This is the Eren who is actually dreaming all of this shit up. And basically the only difference between this dream and the other dreams is that this time he's facing titans, whereas in the other times he's facing zombies. But the particular thing about this dream is that he's actually stuck in it. where he's lost in his dream and he keeps finding himself in a newborn dream. Eren can't break out of this cycle. Now you can see this in Eren's memories when Gabby shoots Eren's head off. I believe in the anime original ending, Eren will eventually fail to carry out his plan. I believe in this particular timeline, he decides to kill Mikasa. I believe in the end of the manga, when Eren sees, even after when he kills Mikasa and he achieves the 100% of the rumbling, he still wasn't able to escape the time loop. And I believe the scene will be provided for us, the audience, that Eren is constantly trying to escape, using various kinds of methods and ways to escape the timeline. And this is why I'm telling you that there could possibly be more than 3 timelines. There could possibly be hundreds of them. To summarize the whole story, Eren is just a high school kid who's stuck in his own pathetic dream, trying to get out. This is what he means by the notion of freedom, and he himself is a slave to this process. And in the anime, he believes that by killing Mikasa and achieving the 100% of the rumbling, he will succeed to do so. Yeah, I know, this can be a quite pathetic ending, but I truly believe this is how the whole pieces will fit together eventually. And Eren doesn't care about parodies, Eren doesn't care about Mikasa, he doesn't care about anything. The only thing he cares about is his own goddamn freedom to escape this whole hellhole. Well, thank you guys, this was the whole video, and make sure to comment and subscribe to let me know what you think about the whole theory. And this was the first video, and I'll be putting more videos in the future, so make sure to tune in for more.